Hey, what's up, guys? Happy holidays, happy new year. Hope you guys had a good weekend. This is a little video that I'm going to get out there showing my top 5 knives of 2011. This is a kind of a rehash of something that I did starting in 2010. Just went over my 5 favorite knives of the year that I had both bought and reviewed in that year. And these 5 that you see before you here are my top 5 choices for 2011. It was actually very difficult to narrow this list down to 5. It took me quite a few days of deliberation of getting it down to what I would consider my favorite 5 knives that I reviewed in the year. But without further ado, here they are, and I'll go ahead and talk about each one of them. No particular order, guys. These aren't rated, number 1 through number 5. They're just my top 5 in general. Starting on the left, we have the Kershaw Talon 2. Some of you may remember this review. It was the first what we call stereo review that I did with my very good friend Edgeweapon88, where we both bought the knife at the same time, was delivered on the same day, we carried it for the same amount of time, and we just got around to doing the review, and I think it came out pretty well. Got a pretty good response from you guys, and we're definitely not done with that, guys. We're definitely open to doing another one of those stereo knife reviews in the future. We just gotta find the time and gotta agree on a knife to do that fits both of our tastes. A little quick update here. As you can see on the blade, I've got a little bit of pitting rust. This has been sitting in one of my knife cabinets, and just rust has kind of accumulated there. Not really a big deal. This will come off with a little bit of lubricant and some steel wool, but just a point of note for you. Okay, then on to the next one. This is the Kershaw Zing. Definitely one of my favorite Kershaws as of late. I also have this in black. The black one was a gift, once again, from my good buddy Edgeweapon88. And I just brought the orange out here to show off a little bit of color, try and keep it fresh and original. And you gotta love those kind of wave pattern on the blades, man. That's really sweet. I'm really a sucker for an orange knife because you don't really see that many of them. There are a few out there, but not all that common. Orange is kind of a color that gets overlooked by a lot of knife companies. But really great knife, just the option of the thumb studs and having the little flipper here. This is not assisted opening, it's old school manual liner lock. Nice, great smooth G10 handles. Really excellent knife from Kershaw. Then we get into the Spydercos here, the Spyderco Ambitious. One of the main reasons that I picked this one, other than the fact that I absolutely love the knife and it's one of my favorite Spydercos, was when I did my top 5 knives of 2010, I had picked the Spyderco Persistence, which is the next step up from this one. And one of the things that I had mentioned in the video was that I'd wish that Spyderco would make a slightly smaller version of the Persistence, kind of in their little big knife line of knives. And not beknownst to me at the time, they were actually already working on the Spyderco Ambitious because it came out about a month or so later. And I was very elated to see that, not in the vein that I predicted anything, but just kind of in the vein that that Spyderco is keeping their eyes and their ears open to to what the public wants. And I think that this was a logical next step for the Tenacious Ambitious, Tenacious Persistence Resilience line. Getting the little bro in there was definitely a welcome treat. What a great little knife, short little stubby blade, great G10, 4-way pocket clip. Just a really, really smooth knife, and for mid-$20, you really can't go wrong with this. It's a great option. Then we move, I guess we're moving down the scale here, the slightly smaller brother, the Spyderco Squeak. This one I had not heard anything about. This was actually recommended to me by my friends at White Mountain Knives. They figured that it would be right up my alley, and they absolutely were correct. They hit the nail on the head on this one. This, for all intents and purposes, is kind of like the baby UKPK, and you guys know how much I love that one. Still love those 2 knives just because of their overall functionality, lightweight, and just overall refinement are just outstanding. This is my first Italian knife, made in Magnago, Italy. Features Spyderco's N690 CO steel. Definitely the first knife that I've owned with that kind of blade steel. Does not have a lock. Kind of old school, like an old school case folder slip joint. That nice spider wire pocket clip, as I so refer to it as. And just a knife that really seems to perform above its level. It's kind of like one of my subscribers out there, I I apologize, I forget the gentleman's name. He's from the UK. He had used the expression that it punches above its weight, and I absolutely agree that that's very accurate with respect to this knife, because it may be a really small knife in a really small form factor, but with the quality of the blade steel, the refinement, the materials, the overall package, this is a really great performer, guys. And for right around $30 or so, it's really hard to go wrong with this. I think that non-locking folders kind of have a bad rep, and I think the whole thing about having a knife that does lock a lot of the time gets overinflated by guys who really don't have a purpose, to use it really hard in their lives, and they're really just kind of blowing smoke, just my opinion. There are those out there who do need a locking folder for safety purposes, guys out there who are really using the crap out of the knife. In that particular situation, you definitely need it for safety purposes. But guys, let's be realistic here. For the everyday person, for the average Joe, who goes to an office, goes home, yada, 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 much like myself, something like this is more than adequate, for 99.9% of your daily tasks. And this, I did not find a daily task that I could not perform with this particular knife. Again, just my opinion, guys, so take it for what it's worth. And last but certainly not least, the Spyderco Ladybug. Again, brought the yellow out here to show some color. I also have this in purple with the plain blade. This is the Ladybug Salt, featuring the H1 steel, which is 100% totally lifetime guaranteed rust proof. You can take this sucker in the middle of the ocean and it will not rust. Great little lock back here featuring the Boy Dent. Very, very great knife. I mean, it almost disappears into your hand. I mean, look at that. You can totally conceal it with my fist. And it's just so light, barely an ounce, and just so functional. I love the hawk bill on this blade. When it comes to opening boxes and stuff like that, man, this blade shape is just the cat's ass. I mean, you just lay the knife flat and whoosh, much like on the Kershaw Talon with that hooked kind of blade, that eagle beak. It's just great form function when it comes to opening boxes and letters, things like that. Anything when it comes to busting something out of a box, this thing absolutely performs. So there we have it. There's my top 5 knives of 2011. Again, in no particular order. I don't think I could definitely pick, which one I like the best versus which one I would put at the bottom of the list. I like them all equal. They're all different knives. They all serve their functions and their purposes greatly, and I love them all. These are all a very welcome part of my collection. But as a very special treat for you guys, I don't normally do this because I really don't like putting it out there. I honestly like kind of surprising you guys with reviews. But I figure, what the heck, it's 2012, the world's supposed to end this year. Totally kidding, guys, the world's not ending. But in all seriousness, I figured I'd put out a little special teaser to show you what's coming from the Mr. Jumbo Fox channel in 2012. Get these guys out of the way. Make some room here. And before you say, dude, another ladybug, not the ladybug, guys. Man bug. Just got this the other day. Tickled to death with it. Can't wait to do the review. Been carrying the crap out of it. The rest of these, I'm sure you guys probably know what these are. Spyderco Manix 2, Spyderco Chaparral, Cold Steel Rajah 3, and the 2 Spyderco Balance knives. So look for these in 2012. Don't ask me when. They'll be out there when they're out there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Again, Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time.